Mhm. Cosmo. Mhm. Peace and power. I want to talk about love today. I want to talk about how much I love and appreciate the black woman today, the original woman. And I want to talk about how, if I'm talking about a topic right now, that's the topic I'm talking about. That's its own topic. But yeah, we it's more love that got to get shown. Are you purring? You feeling the love? Hmm? Hey, mijo? Feeling the love? Hell yeah. You know, I get it. Like, y'all want to be in y'all soft girl era. A couple people want to be in their rough boy era. They want to be gangster. You know what I'm saying? They like, you know what I'm saying? However, you want to respond to the history that you've been made, that's been put on your shoulders. We are responding to history in the present moment. Even in embracing the present moment, we're still responding to history. That being said, you know, I think that I think it's a form of integrity when men are in spaces where women are feeling safe to talk their shit about men, what they don't like, what they discontent about, whether they hate men, whether they disappointed in men, whatever the vast range of women's feelings towards men. Yeah, I think that is a form of integrity for men to hold space for that and listen to that. I think that that's a sign of somebody that's evolved to a degree. And I also think that I've come to gather is that our rage is being used against us. And I've seen a pattern of, most people in their adolescence, they come to like have some type of like, what's the word? Damn, they have some type of resentment against their parents. I think that a part of the human condition is releasing any resentment that one has against their parents. And, you know, the original people are the parents of the entire world. So you know, a part of us moving our way into a new world, involves the world, releasing its prejudice against its original people. But yes, and yes, a part of us stepping into a world, also a necessary ingredient is men coming into terms with, you know, the fact that the shared equity of the world between men and women is a necessity more than just charity or more than just being politically correct. It's just a necessity of harmony for everybody involved. And a third ingredient is also, and here I speak of the original woman, but this is true of all women, coming to terms with just as how the adolescent at the individual micro level goes through a phase where they resent their parents and they whatever they, you'll hear a woman that like they're rebellious against their fathers or whatever it is, but then like the more mature people, not everyone, but the most mature people, sometime in their 20s, sometime in their 30s, sometime for some people in their 40s or 50s, learn that their parents were just people. People that also inherited a history that they had to respond to in their lifetime and had to work with variables that we can't imagine working with. Similarly, the original man is also the father of the original woman. And more than just this kind of like immoral, moronic patriarch that, you know, the kind of generations that were brought up on Homer Simpson and Peter Griffin and all the, you know, all of the sitcoms. You had maybe 5 sitcoms that had like a sensible father, you know? And then beyond that, you know, considering even the men who have been lost, you know, people who have been lost, specifically men who have been lost, and how that has translated into a whole system of dehumanizing the entire world, including men, you know? So I know that when I offer my sisters and the queens and the goddesses of the world, whatever frequency that you're sitting on, you know, and resonate with, when I'm sitting amongst my sisters and they telling me how much they hate men and niggas ain't shit and all the XYZ, like, I feel showing some form of solidarity with her by not personalizing that to the degree and not instantly jump into defending my position as to how I'm different from the men that she's discontent with, you know? And I also recognize that women have a history and a pattern of disrespecting men on purpose to weed out the men that they can't disrespect. And so what I also hear from women is not just this sentiment of we need more men who are more gentle and more empathetic, but I'm also hearing the sentiment from women that we need more men that's standing on business and that's willing to tell women that they're wrong when they're wrong. And that is that, you know, I don't want to call it a patriarchal element because that's its own conversation, but that is that fatherly element that exists even as these other elements of manhood exist. The element of manhood that exists wherein men are the fathers of the world and the ones that provide direction and not just create prison cells, you know, we have to tap into that. And not just for the ego of men that want to not feel like they're a part of the problem, but for the sake of us all, we do have to tap in with the frequency that, you know, we're not just, you know, moving against those who are moving in disharmony, but that we are moving with those who we feel like are moving in harmony, you know, and moving closer toward that, you know, with those people that we resonate with.